There's a quiet kind of magic, and Netflix says nobody wants this. It's not the kind that comes with fireworks or tearful declarations in the rain. It's the kind that sits beside you on a bad day, lets you cry without trying to fix anything, and gently reminds you, hey, you're still worthy of love, especially on days when you forget that. I put the show on when I need exactly that, a reminder that real love exists, that I'm not too much, that maybe, just maybe, there is someone out there who won't flinch when they see the full picture of me. At the center of the story is Joanne. She lives with anxiety, not the made for TV kind, but the kind that quietly clings to you like static. It's not always panic or spirals, though, yes, she has those too. Sometimes it's hesitation, pulling away before someone gets too close, reading into things that weren't meant to be decoded, a silence that fills the room even when she wants to connect. I saw myself in her almost instantly. The overthinking, the second guessing, the way she braces for abandonment even when things seem fine. It all felt familiar. Too familiar. Joanne overanalyzes everything, and let's be honest, that's a particularly core personality trait of mine. Watching her on screen felt like being seen in a way that didn't feel invasive, it felt comforting. And then there's Noah, who walks into Joanne's world not to save her or to handle her, but to see her, to listen. He doesn't show up as a flawless man with the emotional playbook memorized, but he does show up with consistency, curiosity, and a sense of accountability that makes you exhale a little. He doesn't get defensive when she needs reassurance. He doesn't mock her spirals. He asks real questions and holds space. He apologizes when he gets it wrong, even. What he offers is something that feels almost radical: emotional safety. Not the flashy kind, the kind that looks like texting when he says he will. Following through, adjusting without being asked, being aware of his impact, not just his intent. Their relationship is the heartbeat of the show, and what makes it so powerful is that it's not some perfect fairy tale. It's a love story that looks like trying. It looks like care and clumsiness coexisting. It looks like being afraid and choosing each other anyway. Noah isn't without his flaws, by the way, which is important. He's not some emotionally perfect unicorn, and he overfunctions sometimes, wants to fix instead of just sit. He misreads her silence. He centers his own discomfort by accident, but the show doesn't make that into some big betrayal. Instead, it gives us something rare. It gives us repair. And repairing things with Joanne, that's not easy, but he does the work. They both do. They keep coming back to each other, adjusting, talking, pausing, trying again. It's not smooth, but it's real. There's such beauty in watching two people navigate the mess of their inner worlds while still trying to build something together. This show doesn't treat Joanne's anxiety as a flaw to be overcome or something that makes her too much. It treats it as something human. And Noah's emotional steadiness? It isn't presented as a noble or exceptional thing. It's just part of what love should look like. And honestly, that's what makes this whole thing so resonant. They're not an anxious woman and her emotionally evolved savior. They're just two people with their own stuff figuring it out together. One of the themes that really hits me is worthiness. The title, Nobody Wants This, from Joanne's perspective, that's not just about dating or rejection. It's about that quiet, painful belief that so many of us carry, that our messiness makes us unlovable. And in real life, that belief makes so many women settle. We make ourselves smaller, more agreeable, let's be honest, just to stay wanted. But this show gently, clearly calls that belief a lie. A lie we learned too early and never really shook off, and it does so with such care. Nobody Wants This also explores emotional labor, communication, boundaries, and what it looks like to show up again and again, not with grand gestures or sweeping speeches, but with presence, with steadiness. When Joanne spirals hard and she shuts down, convinced that she's lost him, Noah, instead of pulling away, says something that lets her know he didn't need her to be okay right then, but he does need for her to stay with him in it. This got me. Not because it's romantic, but because it felt true. Because when you've got anxiety, sometimes the biggest fear is not being able to hold it together in front of someone. And when someone says, "It's okay, I've got you even now," that's everything. Again, this is not a messy girl meets perfect man story. This is a story about two people who have flaws and are trying, about someone learning to let themselves be loved while still healing. And to me, that is the most hopeful thing of all. You don't need to be fully healed to be loved well. You don't need to be easy to be lovable. You don't have to be perfect to be chosen. If you ever feel like Joanne, too much, too complicated, one step away from being left, this show sees you. It doesn't judge you, it doesn't try to fix you. It just says you're human and you're not alone. And for that, I will always be grateful. In the end, nobody wants this is a quiet kind of love story. The kind that doesn't yell to be heard. The kind that teaches you how to stay. The kind that reminds you that trying, honestly, awkwardly, lovingly, is enough. Because that's what love really is. Not perfection, not certainty, just two people choosing each other again and again, especially when it's hard.